This is Ray Harwood from Bigfoot Quest magazine, and I'm interviewing Robert Leiterman on the Bluff Creek project and Willow Creek movie and all his other Bigfoot iconic situations there. Okay, so just go ahead and I think you were saying that you were at the bar and they were filming and they were kind of showing you in the background and whatnot.
Yeah, just kind of a recap is I was with Ian Martin. He's one of the members of the Bluff Creek Project. And we were hanging together to try to end the bar. And my son was staying back at the house over at Steven's place because he wasn't 21, so he couldn't be in the bar. So we pretty much thought we were all done. This was kicking back. We took Bill Munch down to the film side, Daniel Prez down to the film side. Mark Tina was there, Cliff Brackman was there, Bobo Fay was there, a bunch of other players too were down there. Yeah, so we're sitting there, and this lady.
Hit talk now.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you off the phone, but I don't think I can hear you on the computer.
Oh, that's interesting. So if I keep talking, you see the little things go, little sound meters. No? All right.
Let me see.
Hanging on the bar stools. You're after 12 drink, we're falling over each other. No, actually, none of us didn't really. But so we're sitting there, and the guy standing on top of the
Wait, I'm going to try to turn down my phone and see if I can still hear you. Sorry. Okay, talk now. Okay, darn it, I can't hear you on this.
Yeah, I'll keep rambling so if that helps any. Yeah, so it was kind of a fun adventure. We just finished up with showing everybody what the film site was. Say everybody, there's like 14 or 15 of us that were all together for this big episode of the Where's the Film Site thing. And so the Bluff Creek Project was able to show it to Bill Munns. Bobo had a general idea where it was. We just confirmed it for him. Cliff had a general idea. We just confirmed it for them. And then Mark Tina was there, one of my research buddies, and Bobo was there, and Terry Smith was there, Todd Hale was there. Man, it's a whole list. Tom Yama was there.
I think you're on mute.
Well, let's find out here. All right, so how do I go back to that? Nowhere. Push the button there. I'll record.
Because it just asked me to ask you to unmute.
All right. Video is going. Okay. It was unmuted. I'm talking now.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
Now it's recording your voice.
Okay, now I'm gonna push that button again. Okay, can you hear me now?
Oh, it's recording my voice, not yours. Let me put the phone back and I'll just record it through the phone. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, go ahead.
Can you see me okay?
Yes, I can see you, and now it's recording your voice through the phone, but that's fine.
Okay, that's what I kind of wanted to do. Okay, so like I said, I'm the sharpest tool in the shed and everything, Okay, how was that?
That's great. Sorry about that.
So now we're down to like 32 minutes. Okay. All right. So you asked me to recap. So we had just gotten back from the Bluff Creek area. That was the big day in 2012. We showed Daniel Perez, Bill Munns, the film site. Bubba was there and Cliff Brackman was there. They both had an idea where it was. We just confirmed it by our research. And then, of course, there was other guys like Todd Hill. There goes the memory again. Hate that. Anyhow, a bunch of people were there. And so we were finishing up. We thought we were pretty much done. So we decided to go to the bar. My son at home at Stephen's place, Stephen Stuford's place, not the books, other place. And I was with Ian. Ian's one of the Bluff Creek guys. And so we were pretty much sitting on the bar together, kind of off from the bar in the back. And then Slay come walking around. He has these disclaimers. She asked if we wanted to be in the movie they were working on in the bar. He said, sure, why not? So we read through it, signed our names away, and they came back and got us. And our job was to sit at the bar next to this table. And on this table was a gentleman that was actually her brother, who was standing on the table playing a ukulele, singing a Bigfoot song he had just written the day before. And Ian was sitting right next to me. And Ian, you got this profile for Ian, so you can see it was Ian. And for me, my profile was pretty much this. Little bald spot in the back of the head, you can see that. But we were there probably about 5 minutes. We were playing a song. It was pretty cool. And a guy did a good job of whipping it together. And when we all done, we got to chatting. And then we went back to sitting at the bar. And then later on, we were just walking around. We ended up stopping at Todd Hill and Smith. And so it's like, hey, I'm glad you're here, Robert. This is the guy I told you about. So we got suckered into helping them do some more filming. What they were doing, they're looking for location for film. And since we had just come back from Laos camp, I thought it'd be a great place to do it. So I listened to what she had to say, and we said, sure, I guess we can go back up and, set you up and show you a good place. So when I said we, it would be Ian Carton, one of the Bluff Creek guys, myself, and my son. I was driving. And so we showed up, we escorted them up, we got the place on the way there. And I got to mention, but I also got to meet Bobcat, who I didn't recognize at all. But while we were sitting there talking, this guy was making weird noises at the end of the bar down the far side. And that was Bobcat. And so we got to meet him. He seemed like a nice guy. He was excited and thankful that we're going to help him show him the film site. Next day, we all packed up. They pulled up. They followed us all the way up. Stopped to pick blackberries. We made it to the site. We stopped at all the photo finish so you could take a picture of us on this Bull Creek, Europe. And we finally got to Laos camp and we got all set up. So we sat around, got a fire going, and we're waiting for these guys to decide what they're going to do because it was time to go film it. And being with the ranger with the parks, one of our jobs was to protect the resource. But while they were filming, we just stood around and make sure they didn't destroy the resources. That was our job. And so we're waiting to finally get it together. And we finally say, well, so we got going to start filming. And they go, oh, yeah, we're going to do a night scene. And we got to say, well, what kind of calls you guys have to do? And Bobcat whips out his strange call. By the way, you've heard it in the Willow Creek movie. And he whips out the call, and I'm thinking, I don't know if people are going to recognize that as a Bigfoot call. So it's like, okay. I go, well, have you thought about this one too? So I did my Ohio Howl call.
Uh-huh.
I love camp. It's like 270 degrees. It's surrounded by water. You have Notice Creek and you have Laos Camp. Bluff Creek, Laos Camp. Then right where you sit, there's a nice little cliff face right there. So all the sound bounces off of that. So we have all the water that bounces off, like voices and all those things. So it was great acoustic. So I went ahead and did the Ohio Howl. And I go, that's great. How would you like to do that for us? So not as good as Bobo. So okay, I guess we'll do it. And then how about Knox? You guys thought about Knox? They go, what? So Knox. So we had this cedar round that was, and so I showed them how to knock the tree, whack it, pull back so the sound travels, and then I trained one of the guys how to hit a branch to hit the tree. the round. He did a really nice job with that. That was pretty good. So did a good job in the movie. He did all the knocks for us, and then we were set. So when it got dark, now how to pick out a place for the tent scene. And so I placed right at the entrance, which is just off to the right, which is the best place for it. You're kind of away from camp. We had a place. We had a nice backdrop, and at night you could be in the middle of nowhere. So that was good. So we went ahead and set that all up, and so they started doing their thing, and I was just standing around. And then, of course, I had suggestions. You know, Robert always has suggestions. So I was like, "Have you guys thought about this or thought about that?" So they go, "Hey, well, anything you got for us is great." So the time I said and done, I was like directing, "Hey, let's do this, let's add this, do that." So if you remember that in the scene, while they're all in the tent and they're reacting to whatever we do, and they had no idea what we were going to do. And we were kind of making efforts. We went at it's like, "Oh, how do you think we should do this? We should do that, and knock on these." And then ask, "Well, you should put your hand on the tent and just push it in real slow until," and they'll react to it. And then then we go to the next step with this. So if you imagine the two actors, they both did their homework. They both let it all go. Acting. They let it all go. And they reacted to what we did with no anticipation of what we were going to do. And the reactions were probably genuine because it turned out pretty fun. So we broke sticks, we walked on the ground, we breathed heavy, pushed on the tent. Bobcat got his noises. We heard the knocks, open with knocks, close with knocks, and howls to it. So the scene was pretty fun. I'm not a hoaxer, but here we are getting. I didn't get picked for this, but here I am hoaxing for a show, right? Trying to create this atmosphere of a gospel in their camp. So it's kind of, that's something I don't know how to do, but in a way it was kind of fun at their expense to recreate this environment. And I remember doing the distant calls where I had to walk up this road, 12 and 10, that goes up, it goes way above the camp area. And then I'm still wearing a headset, and Bobcat's got a headset. So we can talk back and forth, but they can't hear us. And also the sound guy has different levels of what's going to be recorded for the film. So I got to the top of the road, we waited, and I can hear them. I can hear them all excited, coming down, the breathing, all the reaction. You can tell them they're starting to calm down. They're calming down. They're calming down. Okay. And then it was like a lot was left up to me for discretion. So I waited until every time they started talking, we would do something that would partially cover what happened, and that the guy talking didn't hear it, that the one listening did. So it kind of added to that back and forth thing, just like real life. Like when I'm talking to you, the sauce what's come down and starts breaking stuff, I'm not going to hear it, but you'll hear it. So it worked perfect. So fast forward towards the very end, I'm walking up the road, they got all calm. And then I belted out the last final calls, and I like hearing the reaction. It seemed like that was pretty realistic to how it would have went down. Then after I was all done, I'm waiting for my next cue, and I got to thinking, I always come here with my friends, researchers, and we walk up this very road at night, doing the same thing, walking up, listening, making some calls, doing some knocks. And it was just like a typical day in research. But at the time, I'm all by myself, about a half mile up the road, thinking, what am I going to do if I hear a return call? Like, oh, that's interesting. But I didn't that day. And I walked back to camp. And then that's a wrap. It was great. They enjoyed it. But that was the neat part of that. And then the next day, we had others to go over, like Bigfoot coming in and throwing their tent, or skinny dipping in the lake, in the creek there, or finding evidence and all these things you see in the movie. They filmed a lot of that around Lost Camp itself. Not a big area, but it's got a lot to offer. And so we spread around looking for different things and making noises and advising them how to pack the pack right to make it look like actually you had stuff in it. Or when they had the tent scene, they had to take it all apart. You couldn't even tell it was a tent. I go, you have to put holes back in it so it looks like a tent. And one thing I suggested was hanging a sock right about head's height when they were coming back from the skinny dipping. And they got back to the camp, and they had his sock, moving back and forth in the tree like it was just put there. And if you watch the movie, you'll see that.
Right. That's one of the iconic parts that they put in the trailer and whatnot.
Yeah, all the fun stuff. Yeah, that was great. We couldn't spend any more time with them, so I wasn't participating towards the very end. And of course, people say, "Oh, we Willow Creek movie," but the end part, you know, and I'm like, I'm with you on that. We're all critics, we're all experts, right? We all know what's better, at least we think we do. But I would have done the end a little bit differently too. Yeah, that's how I felt about it. But working up to the very end, that whole process they went through was kind of neat. You remember the angry man that showed up?
Yeah, right.
Well, when he showed up, he had a city car. I want to say a little blue car, but I could be wrong. I just remember blue. It's a street car, and he drove about 8 miles of gravel road, and he was so pissed when he got there. He got out of the car, and there's Amy. Amy was the assistant director with that. He's the one who asked us to pay, and you know, with the bar seat, he doesn't ask us to sign the paperwork. He also asked us to where's the best place to go. And her brother was the one playing the ukulele, standing on top of the bar. I know I digress, but just for background. So as soon as he got there, he was in her face and giving her a hard time about it. It's like, God, that guy is not. He's just angry. I didn't know that his scene that they filmed was the angry man scene when they showed up, and they get there and they're told to get out of here. If you remember that.
Right.
Well, that guy was playing his part on the way there. He probably was so pissed off trying to drive that road in the middle of nowhere. And then finally he sees people. He hadn't seen anybody for miles, right? Well, welcome to our country, right? That's the way it is up there with the Creek area. So he finally got there. He was so pissed, so happy to see people that, you know, he was really mad. So he took that whole anger part. I don't know if you can see this, but there it is.
Right.
And he brought that over and he applied it to a scene, and of course did a really good angry man.
Came off because he was really angry.
Yeah. But I have to say this though, Bobcat wasn't there at the time. He was doing some things, so he heard the noise and he come walking over to see what was going on. And so he shows up and it's Bobcat. He was Peaceful Angel. So it's just like I you know, right away you kind of go, man, what is this guy's trip? But anyhow, I got to meet him when they did the West Coast showing. It was in Arcata at the theater.
Uh-huh.
And I got to meet the angry man, and he was happy. So I know he wasn't always angry.
Yeah.
And actually I liked him after talking to him. Of course, when you look people up, you're like, who are these people and how did they get this acting gig? So you look them up, and I didn't realize that all those guys were known actors. You know, I had no idea. And my son, who was trying to be not snooty, but kind of like, Dad, I know they're actors, but I'm not going to cow down to the actors and stuff. So,
right.
I keep forgetting his name. Please forgive me, but he's the main guy in the actors. He does the other shows they're doing now. But he was trying so hard to get Francis, my son, to talk. My Francis was like being hard nosed, right? So finally I said, hey, lighten up, you know, not lighten up, Francis, but, you know, lighten up a little bit. He's trying to be nice. So it was kind of nice. After we were all done with the shooting there, we had a great time kicking back and everything. And but they weren't done. They had to go finish the rest of their movie. And we had to go home because we had already been there for four days. And now we added another extra 2 more days. And so it was time to go home. And my son, Francis, are we there yet? When are we going to leave? It's like, well, almost done. Almost done. And Ian, bless his heart, he was there the whole time. I originally asked him to go scout out for other shooting places, so he had a job to do too. Of course, no, he didn't get paid either. And he had a job to do too, so he went out and pretty much did some scouting and reported back to be good for this shot or that. But they pretty much around Louse Camp. So a lot of those scenes, when they're lost, when they're swimming, when they're in the tent, when they're collecting evidence, all that was filmed in much the same general location of Louse Camp.
Yeah.
And so when you look at the film, you say, well, was that really filmed in Bluff Creek? And the answer is, yeah, most of it was. The beginning part, some of it were filmed. The raccoon shot was filmed in the Big Bear Mountains or Arrowhead area. But then when they got down to the other part, Willow Creek, seeing Steven, listening to Tom Yama play the guitar, looking for the wanted posters or the missing persons poster at the burger shop. Those are actual Willow Creek places. And Steven played himself. And the guy at the bookstore, he did a good job with that. Tom was playing. That's what Tom did. That's what the Yams did. So he got recorded with his guitar. And it's like a lot of the people they recorded were pretty much the same ones. I think Cliff was there too, but they didn't use any of Cliff's recordings. I think they thought they didn't use known talents as a local player.
Yeah.
More of a.
So it was supposed to be like a found film, like Blair Witch. So if they used real actors that were recognizable, it would have probably broken the tone.
Yeah. I mean, you think about it. If you want it to be spontaneous and no recognizable people, you want it to be like a natural thing.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be good. I have to say this. I was not. He's probably gonna hate this, but I was watching this scene for. I didn't see them film it. They filmed it already, but being a park ranger for years, and then the guy who's doing the scene with his dog being taken and everything, and I'm like, God, you should interview me for that one. That was great. I probably did a better ranger job than what I saw, but we're always critics. We always think we can do better than the next guy, right? But
right.
Maybe. So my role was behind the scene as an advisor, location scout, pretty much the Bigfoot expert, you want to call it that. Because some people say, yeah, you guys, when you filmed the Willow Creek movie, it was kind of realistic. Some people say, no, it was ridiculous. You don't get that many calls. You don't get this. You don't get that. Well, we're there to help them make their decision on it. And I liked the movie, most of it, except for a few roles here and there.
Yeah.
And I liked it. I would have done the ending different. It's almost like we got this thing going and going. Now you have to end it. So let's end it abruptly. So that's just my opinion on it. But I got the Meat Bobcat, and for the showing, I got the 5. He was really cordial. He was a lot of fun. He didn't speak down to you. So I enjoyed my time with him. And I haven't talked to him like other members of the BLUFF Creek Project had, because he came down later with a few of his crew, and they walked up the creek to the film site. When they originally filmed it, they didn't have that, so they needed that, so they did it later. And Roddy was with them, Jamie was with them, I think. I'm probably missing some people. But they came back later to refilm that section of walking up the creek. So even that is the real BLUFF in the area of the film site. So they got a lot of the area, a lot of the flavor, and Bryce. Sorry, I'm a little late up, but Bryce did a really, really good job on that. And I was kind of impressed by his knowledge of research prior to it, because he played his part. He was pretty much going off, answering stuff, but that was based on research. And so Bryce is up there at the fire ring and trying to talk to my son, Francis. I know recapping, but trying to talk to my son, Francis, and my son's trying to be like hard-nosed about it. But yeah, so Bryce was a great guy, and I enjoyed all the. It's like you expect actors to be kind of snobbish, like, yeah, it's your part, but he was that way, and I appreciate that. And it got to a point towards the very end when they were filming is, I would say, hey, excuse me, have you guys thought about this? They would stop and go, say that again, and then they would go do it. So I must have been giving them some good advice, but they did a bunch of different things and tried to decide, like whether you hang the sock in the tree or whether you have something moving in the shadows. That was interesting how they were trying to pull that all together. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because one of the first thing was, instead of that sock hanging, one of them was they're supposed to show up at the tent and they smell the stink, right? The legendary Sasquatch smell, which means Sasquatch gland been activated. You just showed up. The Bigfoot's still there. It's hiding. It's nervous. It's secreting its smell. And it's supposed to represent, oh my God, he's still here. But you don't see him. You just smell it. And eventually the smell goes away. But the other option we filmed for the same scene was the sock swinging a little bit. And they still mentioned the smell, I believe. But the sock was like right out here in the frame, and it's still moving. There's no breeze. Eventually it stops moving. And I thought that was a nice touch too. They were able to
Uh-huh.
capture that. But that's probably more than what you wanted to hear about.
No,
that.
no, I want to hear as much as I can.
It was a lot of fun.
No, that's pretty neat. So, what, when did you said you were telling me before, but I don't think I was recording yet, but so you started, when did you move there to, that area?
Well, originally of 19, this yeah, 1982. 1982, I transferred up to Humboldt State back when it was called Humboldt State, not the new name they have for it. But I was there for 4 semesters. Actually, back then it was quarters. So you 3 sessions a year versus 2 semester quarters or 3, and that's not including the summer. Anyhow, I did that for 4 years. Then I got my job as a ranger. So I guess I graduated Humboldt in '86. So I was there for last left there in 1986 in June. I think it was May or June for graduation. And then I got my job as a permanent ranger, worked all over the state. And in 1999, we moved back up here and we bought this place. And then we started living here, working at Richardson Grove for 2 years and Humboldt Redwood, Jersey Creek, and back to Humboldt Redwoods. So I've been pretty much living here in this place for about 24 years, which is, you think about it, that's like almost a whole career here, but kind of enjoy it. It's economy's not the best here. Gasoling's expensive. Doctors hard to find and come by, so appointments are long and in between, and there's no competition for coverage for appearances and stuff. And gasoline, we probably pay more than a lot of places in the United States for gas here, and we need to travel everywhere to get things done. So there's a cost of living issue here, but it is very pretty. We have got a university and a junior college. Like right now, they're filming another film up here. They're trying to get people to be extras, and so they're putting out to get people to pay attention to that. So occasionally we get some movies filmed. And timber industry just isn't what it used to be, and the marijuana isn't what it used to be up here either. So yeah.
Well, Jerry Crew, remember Jerry Crew up there when he was on his tractor and found the prints, and his great nephew, Carl Crew, he's making a movie up there called The Print.
Interesting. What do you know about when he's doing that?
Well, I guess he just got permits and stuff for everything and distribution permits. And then I guess he was going to go film, and it's going to be about Jerry Crew.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's going to be kind of cool.
Yeah. Jerry Crew, he knew what to do. That's a cool Tom Yamaron song.
Yeah. You know, that's probably the thing is people have probably been seeing the tracks and hearing things for years, and then no one really did anything about it till that particular time.
Yeah, there's always been stories. Yeah, Justin Sievers, I don't have his book nearby to hold it up, but he just finished publishing a book, and he's on the market trying to get people interested in it. And should have had it with me so I could do a little quick plug for him. But it's out there, and I can't even think of the title right now. Right, so sorry, Dustin. Yeah,
I saw that. I saw it for sale somewhere. I mean, on the internet somewhere. So that'll be a good read.
I'm definitely trying to think of the title here. I'd have to leave here or walk back in the house to get it. Do I have time to walk and carry the phone? Can I do that?
Looks like the time's just about running out. The little thing, but I can do it next time.
Yeah.
I wonder if we could get him on here next time too.
Well, I think Dustin is looking for more exposure.
Yeah. So maybe the 3 of us could chat next time.
Yeah, he was a tough guy to get on for podcasting. We really tried for a long time.
Oh, really? He's not accessible.
No, he wasn't ready to share.
Oh, I see. He wasn't ready yet. I see. That makes sense.
We did talk him into a podcast with Tip and at Kip Camp in the mountains there at BLUFF, and we got him talk a little bit, but we just did about 4 days ago. We actually did a BLUFF Creek podcast interview with him about the book. We're going to do more. but I think the exposure for the book is good. I'll put this in about the book. He adds dialogue to tell the story, and he's done a lot of research. And what he did, so trying to figure out how people would talk, he went ahead and looked up what they said and what they wrote. When it came to the point of trying to get dialogue in, he would see how they answered or said and try to put it into the dialogue. So it's more like what they actually have said or done, which I thought was pretty.
That sounds pretty interesting.
It's about 550 some page, maybe 60 some page book, or 80 some book. It's a good sized book. It covers a lot in there. He's going to have another one coming out, but yeah, I'd rather have him talk about his own product because I'll mess it all up for him. But he did a good job. I just finished reading it, enjoyed it. And
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, talking about books, why don't we talk about yours? Yours is a classic. I mean, that thing is, I mean, it's on its way to being a classic. I don't know how long you have to be out to be a classic, but I mean, the amount of work you put into it. What started you on the road to being the author of that, the Bluff Creek project?
Bluff Creek project. Well, I originally started out where we were doing the research trying to find the film site, and we took a lot of notes. We did a lot of filming. Because the whole point was to document our process and then make it publicly available so people could see how our progress was going along. And when I wrote the book, a lot of it was on the actual progress that was going along. You gotta change some of the dialogue when you look like an idiot or talk like an idiot, and okay. You repeat stuff. So we changed that a little bit so we sounded halfway intelligent. So people go, "What's guys?" And yeah, so most of it is actually how it went down, and the dialogue is pretty much right. It's like 98% dialogue is actually the way it was, and process is 100% because that's what we went through to do everything we needed to do. So we'll be finding, do the maps and grid it out, figure out where it was. And we brought in some players like Bill Munns and Daniel Perez, showed them where it was, confirmed it with Cliff, and we got that. And then we decided, we should probably share more about it. But we also got our camera project going, so we were taking pictures. That's how we found out what Humble Martin was still hanging around.
Right.
And then at the 10th year anniversary of our project, it was, we should put this in writing, so it'll be a book. So somebody will always have it on your shelf. Videos will fade, but the book could be around longer. So I said, yeah, let's pull it together. So then became the long process of compiling all the research. As you know, it's not a small book.
Right.
It's a bit bigger, but we had a lot of information in it. We also had a lot of pictures, so we used a lot of photos. Some people told me I have too many photos.
Can't have enough photos.
I agree. You can never have enough photos, because I talked to someone the other day. We just finished another book project. It's kind of different than Bigfoot stuff, but it was a big book. It is a big book. And the person that was looking at our test copy looks at the front cover, looks at the back cover, opens it up and looks for pictures. And that's very similar to what we do as well. So we added a bunch of pictures in there as well. So the whole point, pictures speak 1,000 words, right?
Yeah.
So look at the pictures, it helps you better understand things. Not everybody learns by reading.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing too about when I'm doing this magazine. The first thing I figured out about the magazine, it's like pulling teeth to get people to send photos.
Right.
I mean, it's really a challenge to get. I mean, sometimes people getting articles is nearly impossible. Getting photos is nearly impossible. And then, then people criticize you because you don't have enough interviews and photos, but it's really difficult to get people, people have their own schedules and whatnot.
It is. You actually asked me to contribute to that. I'm thinking, I don't have time.
Yeah.
I'm working on the projects I've been working on it. I don't have time to pick out the time to start doing that.
Yeah, and if you do, like, say you come down and write an article, it takes research, then it takes thinking, then you have to edit it and think it, rethink it and write it, and then you submit it and all that. That's a whole chapter of your book. That's the same thing with me is when I'm doing the magazine, I don't really want to do other Bigfoot stuff because then I'll never finish it.
I have multiple irons in the fire all the time. It's my life. It's what I do. Like one of the projects I'm working on now with Art Catino and probably Pit Moral as well. It's about our research together. Started in 2004 or 2005 with the first BFR expedition I organized, and then we clicked. We got other research we did together. We had a lot of things happen to us, so I decided let's about that. So Art's on page with that. I'm still waiting for some of his information, but that's going to be done by the end of the year.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, it's going to be about Art and my exploration and our research and what the journey we took together. And a lot of the stuff is like, well, there's this therm sighting. I investigated it. It was my job to tear it apart. Or when we found the snow mounts, we were together when that took place. I interviewed him on some of his other thermal sightings. We did other research together, and like the big thermal sighting at I won't say 2012 pulled into research that. So we put videos up about it. I was there for 8 days, tearing it apart, trying to recreate what possibly took place. So all down in paper, and my style of writing is to tell the story, also put little anecdotes within it, and also I'm in the natural cultural history, so you got to put that in there too.
Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah, your book's excellent. The question, so just to wrap it up, because there's only 2 minutes left.
Yeah.
So at the end of the Willow Creek, because I mean, this conversation kind of went to Willow Creek movie, which is cool. The next one, I got like 100 questions that I didn't get to, but anyway, the final part where they get killed and eaten, I presume.
We don't.
Does that happen? I mean, have you heard of that? I know the Bigfoot 411 theory is that they're eating people. What do you think about that?
Well, I was so do whatever they want. I have no idea, because first you have to agree there is such a thing, you know, and if there is, why aren't there more dead people? And then of course you watch that as well. We just don't know what happened to them. They're probably all abducted or eaten or whatever. But there are some stories, but there's a lot of stories about, I guess, up in Canada, some power company guys who all found all torn apart. I've never found that or pictures or anything else, but you have these stories about, you know, things happening to people. And the first thing we think about is the Bigfoot movie. Harry and the Hendersons doesn't come to mind, but it does for me. But some people it doesn't. It comes back to horror movies, monsters destroying and eating people, killing people. That's what most of the Bigfoot movies are. So
right,
and they love the monster movies. So.
Yeah. Well, of course, humans kill more humans than anything else.
Say that again. Humans
kill humans more than anything else.
Yeah, or viruses or whatever, or accidents, or heart disease, or So it's just one of those things that I don't know how to answer that one.
Yeah.
I gave you a nice little run around there a little bit, you know, but I haven't been attacked or killed. So, and I don't know anybody who's been attacked or killed by a Sasquatch personally.
Okay. Looks like we got 1 minute left. So just want to say thanks for coming on and interviewing. And if you don't mind, we could do another one maybe right after Christmas or something.
Yeah, sure.
Because I got like a plethora of questions that I didn't get to.
Right here, I put that book right there, and you'll see Dustin's book cover, and the people will know what to look for.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great. Okay, let's see.